Please help me to reach 500 subscribers. They say guilt gnaws at your soul bit by bit. But what happens when the absence of words becomes louder than any shout? This is the story of a single confession that turned a life upside down and how one woman's silence broke the man who loved her most. He crumbled before me, hands trembling, chest heaving, tears streaming down the face of the man who once swore he would never leave. And I didn't speak, because I knew I had obliterated everything we had. Have you ever wished you could go back and shake your past self, scream at her to make a different choice, beg her to stop before it's too late? I relive that moment every night. The instant I watched Caleb unravel and I stayed mute. We met during my final year of college. I was at a quiet coffee shop I frequented after class when he accidentally spilled his cappuccino, opening the door for me. We laughed until our stomachs hurt and somehow ended up sharing a table, even though we were strangers. One conversation became two, then dates, long talks, late-night movies. I fell faster than I ever imagined. Caleb was steady, gentle, dependable, the kind of quiet presence that made you feel understood. He wasn't flashy, didn't chase attention, but he always showed up. A year later we moved in together. While I flitted from one uncertain job to the next, chasing my creative dreams, he grounded me, patient, unwavering. And maybe that's why I took him for granted. I wish it had been a single, impulsive mistake. A fleeting lapse in judgment. But the truth was uglier. It started innocently enough with a coworker, Jason. He was magnetic in ways Caleb never tried to be, bold, charming, effortlessly funny. He noticed small changes, complimented me, sent messages that made me feel special. At first I dismissed it. Then the lunches got longer, the texts more daring, the feeling of being noticed intoxicating. It spiraled. One night I stayed late at work and didn't come home. I lied to Caleb, telling him I had to finish a project. He made me tea, kissed my forehead and said, "Don't overwork yourself." And I resented him for his kindness because I didn't deserve it. 6 months of this continued. Every glance at Caleb made me feel like a monster, yet I couldn't stop. Jason filled a void I didn't know existed, feeding insecurities I had buried deep. But fantasies end quickly. One night, Jason showed up drunk while Caleb was working. He was loud, careless, and neighbors overheard. Rumors spread faster than I could manage. The next morning, Caleb confronted me after my morning run. His voice was quiet, steady, but his hands shook. "I need honesty. Is there someone else?" Time slowed. I remember the way his voice cracked, the way he avoided my eyes. I lied. "No," I whispered. "Of course not." I thought the lie could bury the truth, that it could fade with time. A week later, I returned home to Caleb sitting on the floor, my old phone in hand, the backup I thought I had erased. I didn't try to explain. How could I? That I loved him but had been selfish? That it was just a mistake? I froze as he broke down silently before me. No yelling, no confrontation. Just quiet heartbreak. That night he packed a small bag and left. No dramatic exit, no threats. Just gone. I sat on the bed, staring at the shape he had left behind, crushed by the weight of my own choices. I thought that was the worst of it. Weeks later, Caleb's sister called. He was staying with their parents, not speaking to anyone, having quit his job, vanished from social media. "He's not the same," she said. "He doesn't laugh anymore." I wanted to reach out, but how do you mend something when you caused it to fracture? Jason reached out afterward, but I couldn't face him. Every memory was tainted. I tried therapy, journaling, volunteering, anything to silence the echo of what I had lost. Yet the truth followed me relentless. Months later, I accidentally saw Caleb in a bookstore. He looked older, wearier, and though I wanted to speak, he passed without a word. And I deserved that. I still keep the mug he gave me that first Christmas, the one with the cheesy line, "You make my world warm." It sits in my kitchen untouched, not for nostalgia, but as a reminder that love isn't always loud. Sometimes, the best love whispers quietly and leaves the same way, taking pieces of your heart with it. I destroyed the most beautiful thing I ever had through countless selfish choices. And when he finally broke, I remained silent, knowing that any words could only hurt further. Some betrayals don't need screaming or dramatic exits. Sometimes, the quiet collapse of someone who truly loved you, and the deafening silence afterward, is punishment enough. Tell me in the comments, do you think forgiveness is possible for someone like her? Please help me to reach 500 subscribers.